There we are. We're actually already live. I don't think they can hear us yet, but we're already live on the camera. So don't say anything too stupid yet. Here we go. We're back on Divine Mercy Radio's Spring Care-a-thon. Pray, hope, and don't worry. We want to remind everybody that during this Care-a-thon, we are asking you to partner with us in keeping this mission of evangelization going. And so please call 785-621-4110, and we will get you out there and make sure that we have your dollars doing the best that we can. You are listening to 101.7 KJDM Lindsborg and Salina, 105.7 KMDG Hayes. There we go. I don't think I was talking, but I was not actually going out on the air. Now I am. You're listening to 101.7 KJDM Lindsborg and Salina, 105.7 KMDG Hayes, 88.1 KRTT Great Bend, 88.1 KVDM Hayes, 89.1 KGOH Colby, and 107.3 K297 AI Hill City. We have that Care-a-thon goal of $125,000. We need you to help us to get there. I want to thank Jackie Skolot for donating $100, which becomes a $200 donation with that with those matching funds that we have. Please join Jackie and support this station, support our efforts of evangelization. 785-621-4110. We also want to get to one of those trivia questions here. So we're going to read the trivia question. You call in, you get it right. We put your name in that drawing for a $50 gift certificate to Messenger Traditional Catholic Books and Gifts here in Hayes. The 4 p.m. trivia question. Oh, yeah. I have to remind you that you have to now be 16 years of age or younger. Okay. All the adults had their chance throughout the day. 16 or younger. And I've got two wonderful ladies in here with me. So I'm going to have one of them read the question. I always caution, don't read the answer. Did that once and I messed it up. I'll try not to ever do that again. So I will turn on your mics and we're going to let them read the question. So Grace.
Okay. Which of these saints was not from Poland? A, Saint Pope John Paul II. B, Saint Faustina. C, Saint John of the Cross. Or D, Saint Maximilian Kolbe.
One more time.
Okay. Which of these saints was not from Poland? A, Pope John Paul II. B, Saint Faustina. C, Saint John of the Cross. Or D, Saint Maximilian Kolbe.
Call 785-621-4110 to take a stab at that. I know there are some young people out there that may know this. I don't know why Michael would make a question like this for 16 and under. Like, well, there's probably a lot of people out there going, I'm not sure. Michael, I'm one of those people. I'm not exactly sure which one of these saints was not from Poland. So I'd be one of those people that would call in and just kind of be like, well, let's take a stab at it. And you can do that. If you get it wrong, that's okay. That's the worst that can happen. If you get it right, we'll put you in that drawing for that gift certificate. Okay. We now have our 3 o'clock interview with Grace Eck and Aspen Bussing, right? Yes. All right. I had to check on that because I didn't want to mess it up the whole time and have her be like, oh man, this guy. So Aspen and Grace are students at Fort Hayes, and they are so Aspen is from Axel and is involved in Bible studies, Eucharistic ministry, music ministry, and the student leadership team. Grace has been involved in the Catholic Campus Center since she was a freshman and has been involved in many events around the Campus Center as well. And Grace, you said you're from Ellis, is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And if you guys would move your mic, yeah, you can just pull it. There you go.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay. And I reminded them to made them a little bit nervous that we're live on Facebook, Rumble, and YouTube. And it didn't really bother them. But we're going to get to talking with them about a trip that they took this last summer, correct?
Spring break.
March. Oh, it was actually that. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's just spring break. So even closer than I thought. So where did you ladies go?
So we went to Peru. We went to Lima, Peru is where we stayed, but we went and worked in Pamplona.
Okay. And who'd you go with?
Yeah, we went with the Catholic Campus Center. They were partnered with Focus on our campus. So technically it was through Focus, but Father Andy came, and then I think 11 students total.
Okay. And
Yeah.
there was only one boy that went on the whole thing.
Yes.
My goodness. Well, way to represent, ladies.
Yes.
That's awesome of you. So how did this even come about? Did Father just approach you guys and was like, "Hey, I had this idea about going to Peru," or was it a little more involved? What was it?
They do try and take a focused trip every spring break. So they were trying to switch on and off from a mission trip to a pilgrimage every other year. But last year they went to Peru. This year we also got to go to Peru.
Okay.
So we just kind of talked to each other. We'd always wanted to go on it. So throughout our time here, but this time we were actually like, hey, let's do it
Let's just
together.
do it. Like kind
Okay.
of, we'll both be leaving next year. So like now's the time to do it, you know?
Mhm.
Okay. So give us some details on what does it look like, because you don't just up and go to Peru. So, can you kind of give me some details on the trip there, anything memorable when you get there? What does it look like? What are you doing? Any of that stuff?
Yeah. So it was about, I think 24 hours of travel there and then back as well. So I think we flew out of Kansas City to Miami. That was about a 5-hour flight, and then from Miami to Peru. So those were definitely long travel days. We got there Sunday at 6:30 a.m. Slept for an hour, and then we were up and at 'em. And then we went to Pamplona, which was the city we were serving in, which basically we drove 30 minutes from where we were staying, and then we hiked up over this little mountain, and on the other side was Pamplona.
Really?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll let you tell a little bit about Pamplona.
Yeah. So whenever we first showed up to Pamplona, we climbed this mountain, which was probably a 30-minute climb, 45-minute
Okay. So
climb
that's not terrible.
up the mountain. No, it wasn't too big, but so we climbed over the mountain, and it was a whole different world over there. We were in this rich city of Lima, which was the capital of Peru. And then we climbed the mountain, and we were in this extreme poverty. They looked like little shacks that the people lived in.
Wow.
A lot of them didn't have windows. They lived really kind of with the elements there. They didn't have AC. They didn't have running water. They had a water truck that would come up the mountain on these horribly steep roads. I wouldn't want to drive on them personally. But yeah, a water truck would come through and fill these 15,000 gallon tanks of water so that they actually had water. We carried up boxes of water for ourselves to drink. And we did that one day. That wasn't any fun. We carried up a box of water. But it was just insane. We climbed over the mountain the first day, and there was a little boy that came around because there's about how many million people lived in this city of Pamplona?
80,000.
80,000. And there was 10 million in Lima and 80,000 in the city of Pamplona. And there was a little boy that came around, and he goes, "People!" He yelled. He was just so excited to see us because there was probably over 100 of us that came, us, and there was a couple of other schools and a parish that went just to help out the people of Pamplona for the week. So he just yelled. He was so excited to see us. It was really heartwarming that first day because we were we are in a culture shock. We are seeing extreme poverty for the first time in my life. I don't know if you have or not like that, but it was complete shock, and these people were so excited to see us. It was shocking.
So that's what Sunday we didn't work. We just were getting to know the people of Pamplona, getting to know the kids, kind of just hung out with them all day. And then starting Monday, what we did was we built a retaining wall that basically was helping form the road so the water trucks could get up the mountain. And they had a mixer to pour the concrete, and then we put it down, basically just this big pipe, and it wasn't we had a big concrete truck up there or anything. And then we put rocks in the wall instead of the rebar, so it stayed. And then we were working alongside, there were a couple of men from Pamplona who were kind of leading all of it. But yeah.
Our wall at the end was about 8 feet wide, maybe
so for
6 feet, 8 feet tall. So
they were happy with what a bunch of girls got done.
from the
It's
Midwest.
what he told us. But I was
Yeah.
like you don't know all these Midwest Kansas girls. Like, we know how to work.
Yeah, he was
That's funny.
shocked. He's like, I wasn't expecting much work to get done from 10 girls and one guy from Paraguay. But he was, really proud of our work that we did do.
That is awesome. I'm going to break in really quickly and see if we can get another caller. We did have a caller, but not a winner. I'm actually going to break this one down a little bit for you guys. I'm going to give you a 50-50 on this one because I think this is the first one ever that I just really didn't know. Once again, Michael, come on, man. Which of these saints was not from Poland? We are going to go with, is it Saint Pope John Paul II or Saint John of the Cross? Which of these saints was not from Poland? Is it Saint Pope John Paul II or Saint John of the Cross? 16 years of age or younger. 785-621-4110. That's 785-621-4110. And just so everybody knows out there, Michael was a student of mine, and we have a great relationship. So it's fun for us to just mess with each other. So don't feel too bad for him. All right, 785-621-4110. And that's the same number that you can call to make a pledge. So kids, if you're calling in and getting the question, you can then hand it off to your parents, and parents, you can say, hey, I would like to make a pledge and use up some of those matching dollars. 785-621-4110. We are speaking with Grace Eck and Aspen Bussing, and we are talking about their mission to Peru. So getting a little bit back to what you ladies were talking about and some of the work. I mean, first off, no running water. No windows in some of the houses, which to me means no electricity probably. So you're obviously not working with the greatest tools either, because no cement trucks. So give us some more insight and picture into what it is that you're doing day to day in Peru.
Yes. So we did have this little concrete mixer, but we also made concrete on the ground, and what we called volcanoes.
Our dads would be proud.
Our dads would be very proud of us, yes, because they use concrete chucks. But we would make a pile with a concrete bag and sand and water on the ground. We'd mix it all together, and it was a long process. It took maybe 30 minutes with one bag of concrete to mix it together, and we didn't make a lot of concrete either. But we would use shovels, mix the concrete on the ground, throw it down this little, what was it, like a 6-inch pipe down like 30 feet to the pit was what we called it. It was where we were actually making the wall. So we had forms down there, kind of forms. We used what we had. So we were using tin to help get the water down there, some wheelbarrows, shovels, and little tiny buckets that held not even a gallon of concrete. We would dump it down the pipe. So it was a long process. It took a long time. Definitely hard on our bodies for sure after climbing the mountain and then back down kind of the mountain too. So.
We'd work for about 4 or 5 hours, and then we'd spend about an hour down like with the kids and with the people. We'd eat lunch down on the mountain in their play area, and then just spend time with them.
Awesome. So did you guys bring lunch to share with them? Did they cook for you? How did that work?
They actually cooked for us. So Bridges is kind of the group that started this all. So they provide all of the supplies, and then some women of Pamplona cook the meal. So it was really good food. Yeah.
Yeah, and the supplies, we had to fundraise about $3,000, $3,500 to get there. So we sent out letters and asked people that we know and we love to help get us there. And then also Fort Hays does give us some money as well, our group, to go on this mission trip. So what we fundraised got us there, and then also bought the supplies that we did use. So Bridges, the foundation that we went through, which was partnered with Focus, they would buy all of the supplies for us, and then we would use them with the money that we fundraised.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm kind of a foodie, so it's funny that that's one of the questions I have to ask. But what was your favorite thing that you ate throughout the week?
One night, this was in Lima, we went to a parish there, and they made us cow heart. And what were what
Like
was it?
apple donut type
Yeah.
things.
It was really good. I didn't know it was cow heart until I was done with it, but
thankfully, it was really
Yeah.
good.
We
was
make that
probably
around
what I-
here. So if you
yeah,
ever
I
need
mean,
some more
yeah,
cow
okay,
heart.
yeah, it was good.
And
Other-
on another day, it was Friday, so we weren't eating meat because this was during Lent. But they made us these omelets, but it was mostly vegetables and some egg. Those were really good. And we had everything with rice too.
a lot of rice
Okay.
and chicken.
Rice and chicken, potatoes.
Yeah.
It was
Okay.
we ate really good. We ate a lot better than I do here at college.
Yeah, my favorite meals were definitely like up on the mountain.
Yeah.
That's
the ones
awesome.
that, yeah.
Plus, there's something that happens when you're working really hard.
Yeah.
You might as well-
It's like 3
it's
o'clock.
sustenance,
Yeah.
whatever. I just want it.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we would eat lunch pretty late. We'd eat around 2 or 3 o'clock. So
Okay.
we would be working for a while. We'd be getting hungry. We'd be eating granola bars trying to get to lunch.
So let me actually break in really quickly once more. Bridget Staub was our winner. So congratulations to Bridget. Thanks for listening, Bridget. Great family there. Really appreciate that you guys are listening and supporting us. She got the correct answer. The question was, which of these saints was not from Poland? The correct answer there was St. John of the Cross. So we will get you put into that drawing that will happen here at 6 o'clock. For that gift certificate to Messenger Traditional Catholic Books and Gifts here in Hayes. And we'll get to another question in a little bit. You're listening to Divine Mercy Radio Spring Care-a-thon, Pray, Hope, and Don't Worry. And we're talking here with a couple of wonderful young ladies from the Fort Hays State Catholic Campus Center. And they went on a trip to Peru, just getting some insight into how things were there. So, ladies, you say you were building this road path something for the water truck to be able to get back up there. How much concrete work did you do while you were there?
That was basically all that we did that whole time. We
Oh,
built
okay.
this 8-foot wall, probably by 2 feet wide.
How many bags of concrete do you think we used?
Yeah, like 20, maybe 30 bags, 30. Yeah. And we had to carry those bags of concrete, the men of our group. We had a parish that also worked with us on this one wall.
Okay.
So they were actually from Florida. So they brought a couple of men. Thankfully, other than that, the guy in our group, he would have been really tired. But they carried all of those bags back down the mountain to where we were working. So those were heavy bags, like 80-pound bags of concrete.
Very steep stairs.
Because they live on the mountain, so and they have concrete stairs that get them to all of their houses. So they live on a pretty steep slope, and those concrete stairs you have to bring everything up and down, and then the roads are pretty small, pretty narrow.
Yeah.
Narrow. Yes. So that's why the concrete truck can fit on them, but nothing else can fit on them. Yeah, they're pretty small.
Yeah.
Wow. So how did you even, I just backing up a little bit because that brings up into my mind, how did you prepare? What was the climate like? Did you know what it was going to be like? You can't overpack really for something like that. No. It's not like you can just bring everything. You probably have to pack kind of small. So what did that process kind of look like?
Lots of sunscreen because their UV was like 13, which I didn't even know it could get that high.
I don't even know what that means.
Like, basically, you could get sunburnt really fast.
Okay.
Like, so 15 minutes outside, you're going to be red.
Yeah. So we reapplied quite a bit.
I guess you are up on a mountain, you said. So
yes. Yeah. And apparently, like the ozone layer is really thin. But I mean, we just brought lots of work clothes. Yeah, I mean,
a lot of the clothes we did leave there. Our shoes, we destroyed our shoes in a week.
Really?
Just working down there. Yes. Thankfully, we're training for a half marathon, so we were physically fit enough to to do it. But it was definitely tough on some people getting up and down the mountain every day between working.
The weather was pretty nice. I mean, a little bit humid, but not as hot as I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
Yes.
So
So not like fighting mosquitoes the whole time. Right?
No, actually, there was like hardly any bugs.
Okay.
Yeah.
No bugs.
All right. So you're making this path. And then you said you also you interacted with the people for several hours out of the day.
Mm-hmm.
So kids, did you guys like play soccer with them or what do you do?
Yeah, lots of soccer. Honestly, they would make toys out of anything. Like some of our water boxes that we brought up, they had like a plastic I don't know,
bag on the
that-
inside.
yeah, and the kids would like to like blow them up and then like play with it like they would a balloon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
And their playground is a little bit different. Their playground, they actually built, it looks like an outdoor basketball court on the side of this mountain. So that's where they play. That's where all the kids, and they'll come down there in the middle of the day without their parents, like 2 and 4-year-olds just climbing down the mountain. You'd see them all come. They'd all hold hands with their siblings, come down and see us down there. So they'd come and play. And we'd be just surrounded by kids. There would be like 100 kids just surrounded by us, wanting to play with us, playing soccer.
Sunday we had mass there up on the mountain with them because that's something they don't have like regular access to is in a lot of the sacraments because there's no priests like in Pamplona.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of them like aren't even baptized.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So having Father Andy with you then was something that was probably very much appreciated by them.
Yeah, and there were a couple other priests there too. So I think a lot of them did confession too. Was that the same day? Was that Sunday?
Yeah, we had it with our group. There was a couple other schools, and then I said like a couple other parishes. So there was 7 priests total that were there. So we were very fortunate to have a lot of good shepherds with us. But offering the sacraments, and then also they would bless a lot of the things that we would give to the kids. So a lot of rosaries. Basically anything that we gave them, the priest would give it to the priest first, and he'd bless it.
Okay.
And they'd play with it then. Yeah.
Is their culture highly Catholic, or are they? So when you went there, I'm just trying to get a sense of, especially when you said that there's not a priest, so they don't. Is most of their area Catholic, or are they just kind of, well, we're not really much of anything? Do you guys know? Or
I would say mostly Catholic there,
but Pamplona is just very like isolated, I would say,
because it's over the mountain.
Yeah, and
all that separates Lima and Pamplona is a mountain, but there's a lot that separates them in that mountain, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah, I think it's just a very kind of they're just very separated. Yeah, I think the poverty, a lot of them kind of just they don't know that it's there, or I
don't have the availability for it, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
How often do they see missionaries then?
So right now they had a lot of missionaries come through with the spring break through the foundation that we use. So through Bridges, a lot of they have groups for 4 or 5 weeks. But then every Saturday, I think they said that they do have a group come over from Lima, but it's not near as big. So it'd be like 20 people compared to our 100, 150 people that came for the whole week. So a lot smaller throughout the regular year.
Okay. And so that road, the big project that kind of everybody works on, your group leaves, or did your group kind of finish and then?
No, we didn't finish it. But I mean, it's going to be continued to be worked on, but like a lot of the other schools were I think some of them were pouring stairs,
retaining walls, because they are on the mountain, just trying to help with the stability so that their houses.
Like where we were working was like definitely higher up on the mountain. So they were like the newer homes. It wasn't near as like developed, I guess you could say.
Okay.
So like the water trucks were starting to have to get higher and higher up.
Okay. How did you even, I know this is going back a little bit, but how did, this was through Focus, right? Who then partnered with you guys to take you there. How was Peru even chosen? Like that's always amazed me too. Like how do people just kind of like, well, let's throw a dart, or what happened there?
Well, so they actually went to Peru last year. I don't know how we ended up going 2 years in a row, because usually I think this mission trip is one that's definitely, I think a lot of people want to go on. But like Focus just has a lot of different trips you can choose from, and they kind of get told, I think, like where they're going to go. There's people behind the scenes that figure all of that out.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
All right. So then as you go there and you're helping the people out, you're being able to interact with them, is the goal more to help their physical needs? Is the goal more to make relationships with them and kind of know them as a person? What's the whole purpose of being over there?
I think the main goal is really just showing them Christ's love, showing them encountering the people versus the physical work, because we really can't do that much physical work with the supplies that we have. With a shovel and a miniature concrete mixer, we can't physically do a lot of work, but we can show them a lot of love, a lot of Christ's love. Especially, there was a language barrier, so they all speak Spanish. We do not speak Spanish, not very fluently. So like even just we were communicating through Christ's love, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And just, letting them know that, they're loved.
Do you guys have any stories then of people that you met, or stories with the kids or anything like that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah. So that first day I met a little boy. His name was Liam. He was what? 4 or 5?
4 or 5.
Yeah. And he's really, really shy at first. And those younger ones, they didn't always understand like that we couldn't speak their language. They just were chatter. And I was like, sorry, I don't know what you're saying, but they don't care. And we colored a picture together, and then like he was attached at my hip for the rest of the day. And then come Monday, we were working on the wall, and what do you know, Aspen's coming down the stairs with little Liam, and he's just got like this biggest smile on his face when he sees me. Like he recognizes me, and he like runs down the rest of the stairs, and it was just a really cool like little reunion. Like I was just really happy. He was really happy. Yeah,
that's
it was
awesome.
really cool.
That's a look on Grace's face I'll never forget. Just bringing her down there. She had no idea that I was up at the top of the mountain talking to him. He just came walking down the road, and he's like, oh, I know you. Like he remembered me. He didn't say anything, but he could tell that he remembered me. And then I'm like, I have to bring you to someone. So I brought him down the mountain, and that's a face that I'll never forget. She was just like in pure joy, just from an encounter that she met. She never talked to him. Like she couldn't talk to him, but just their encounter together was something.
And it was
but just bonded them really
and with
well.
little kids, like I feel like there's just a universal like language. Like Sunday we were eating our supper, and he was too busy playing, and he didn't want to eat anything. So like he would come back, like take a bite, and then go back and play. And I finally told him, I was like, Liam, you need to take 4 more bites, like 4 moss. And he was like, okay. So he was like shoveling food into his mouth, and he took 4 more bites. But it was just really funny because it's like really that language is like universal to little kids. So it's like, something I would do to one of my little siblings. And I was like, Liam, come on, eat your supper.
Hey, buddy. We're friends and all. Well, that is so awesome. And as you guys said earlier, I mean, that is just being Christ to the people that are there.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. How about you? Got any stories of people you met?
Yes, I did have a little girl that she was really shy, and I got to meet her. She was 2 or 3. She was 3. And she didn't want to talk to me at first, wanted nothing to do with me, and then all of a sudden she was like, I want on your back. So I was giving her a piggyback ride. We were gonna go eat lunch, and I was like, you can just come with. I didn't know how to tell her, so I was kind of motioning to her that she could come with. And Elias was the guy in our group. He spoke Spanish, so he was trying to tell her, like, come on, we're going. And he took her, and she started crying. She was like, no, like, I'm going with her. Like, I'm not going with you. She was crying. We got to play together that whole day, and then we had to leave, or she had to leave, because that day they were not able to get food, which was really kind of heartbreaking. That like we were sitting there eating more than what we needed, and they were not able to get that food that day. They had to go back home and eat. So she had to leave, and she was just bawling. Oh, it was so terrible. Like we were just playing together. I was playing tag with her, and she had to leave and was crying. And we just had formed the quick friendships that you could make, even though you weren't speaking the same language. It was just really beautiful. Like you really saw Christ working in these 3-year-olds who were just like my nephews back home, but completely the same person, the same characteristics, like you said, but they just live in completely different conditions than we do. So they're still so beautiful, and they're still the same that we are, but it's just so hard for us to kind of
like even fathom like the poverty that was there unless you see it.
Like these people we really are equals. We are literally equals. And then also like in Christ's love, we're equals, but you would just live. My first world problems are nothing compared to what they encounter every single day, to how they live.
Wow. Yeah. And like you said, I mean, something that just keeps coming back to me is, it's just, it's basically like a backyard type of thing from what it sounds like. You go up and over this lip, and you went from
Yeah.
extravagance to extreme poverty. And
Mhm.
wow, what was that like the first time? Like, as you come over the first, did they prepare you for that? Or when you
I had seen pictures because my roommate went last year. So like
Okay.
I kind of knew what to expect, but it's still like pretty shocking
like you said, until you
until you
experienced
actually
it firsthand.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It was I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I climbed over the mountain and I was like, "Oh my goodness. These are their houses. This looks like a garden shed." Like
I
that's
think,
what they
Wow.
looked like.
I think what really surprised me was just how many people. Like it wasn't just like a couple thousand. Like it was a big city.
Yeah, in my mind, when you guys first said this, I'm picturing like 50 shanties or something, and
Mhm.
like,
And
but
like
you said it
yeah.
was what, 10,000 or something like
Like
that?
80.
I don't even know if they know the
Oh.
exact number, but like
1,000.
where we were working,
Okay.
it was a very like small percentage. Like we
It
had
extended on as far as you could see.
because we were at like the top of the city, and like
Oh
it
my
extended
goodness.
down. So and I think they have like one hospital, for around 80,000 people is what I was told.
Mhm.
80,000.
Okay. So yeah, you're talking something way bigger than Hayes.
Way
Yeah.
bigger than Hayes.
But it's all these people are living in the same extreme poverty.
Mhm.
Wow.
I kind of wish we would have gotten to kind of walk through the city, but like I said, we just climbed up and over the mountain, and that's where we worked. But
Mhm.
Okay, I'm going to come back with a question here in just a second because it's kind of a follow up to that. First, I want to break in and thank so very much. We had an anonymous donor that just donated $1,500, and so thank you so very much. With our matching funds, that's a $3,000 donation. We thank you and we appreciate you so very much. Please continue to donate. Please call into 785-621-4110. And they probably just because you ladies are here, they're like, oh, good. Now that we get to hear them, we'll donate. So I don't know who it is, but thank you. And thank you for listening to this wonderful interview that we have. And we ask that you would, if you're out there, if you're listening, partner with them and call 785-621-4110 to help keep us on the air and keep evangelizing because our world needs it so badly. Now I'm going to get to our second question of the day. Remember, this is for 16 years of age or younger. And would you like to read it?
Yes, I would.
Okay, so Aspen is going to read this for us. She's not going to read the answer unless it gets really difficult. Let's see if Michael did better on question number 2. Here we go.
All right. What was King David before he was anointed king?
Oh, okay.
A, shepherd. B, soldier. C, field planter. D, goat herder. Again, what was King David before he was anointed king? A, shepherd. B, soldier. C, field planter. D, goat herder.
785-621-4110. It actually could be a couple of those, but I know which one he's looking for. He's looking for the one that he was when he was a younger boy, before he dispatches Goliath. We'll put it a little PG there. So before he dispatches Goliath, what did King David do? 785-621-4110. And also call that number if you would like to donate. So kids, call and guess. Parents, call and give us your donation. And we do have a winner, I see. We'll get the name here in just a little bit. We are speaking with Grace Eck. Sorry about that. Grace Eck and Aspen Busing. And so they are talking about their mission in Peru. It has been a wonderful discussion so far. We left off talking about seeing this vast city that's just over the hill from an extravagant area, from my understanding. And so that's culture shock a little bit also. I don't want to dissuade anybody from doing anything like this, but I am curious. You said you didn't get a walk through the city. Was it pretty safe? Were there any dangers? Do you have any idea?
I would say for the most part, it was safe, especially during the day, because the kids would come down without their parents to meet us. There would be hundreds of kids, like 2 and 4 year olds. That's my nephews would never be left alone without without their mom in those cases. Not anywhere here. They would just walk down to the park and come and play. So I think during the day in the
Focus
sun,
wouldn't have sent us anywhere that like wasn't safe. I mean, I just think there were so many people, it would have been hard to parade 150 people down there.
Okay. Really quickly, I want to congratulate. Hey, the Staubs are racking it up. That's awesome. Thank you, Staubs, for listening. Beth Staub is the winner with Shepherd. Question was, what was King David before he was anointed king? He was a shepherd. So congratulations to Beth Staub. We'll get you put into that drawing here in just an hour and a half for that gift certificate to Messenger Traditional Catholic Books and Gifts. It is such a wonderful store. Go visit it, even if you don't win, because Jerome and Angela, they have made it. It's just wonderful. You walk in and you immediately feel welcome. You immediately feel at home. They even have a little upstairs loft where you can go and sit and read and kind of just enjoy things. I'm not sure if you can take your coffee in there or not, but probably maybe ask Jerome before you do that. But I think, you could probably take your coffee up there, read, buy something from them because they have great stuff, especially since we have sacraments coming up. We've got First Holy Communion. We've got confirmation coming up throughout our area. And so if you're here, go in, visit them, grab something for those people going through those things, or even your graduate. 785-621-4110 is the number you call to get a hold of us, though, and help us to continue this evangelization effort. All right, back to talking to Grace and Aspen. So we've talked a lot about, getting there, serving the people, food and stuff like that. Even the goal. Were there some other struggles that you ladies had besides just like, it's hot, or I can't understand you? Were there other things that you had to deal with?
I personally, so we would have a holy hour and we would go to daily mass every single day. It was just kind of hard to, we traveled for 24 hours. It was kind of hard to enter into prayer those first couple of days, honestly, just for myself. You're seeing all these, you're going through a lot. You really are. So it was just kind of really hard for me. That was probably my biggest, just entering really into prayer. I thought that I should have been really deep into prayer. That was going to be such good prayer. It was going to be so easy to talk to the Lord, about whatever I was experiencing. But honestly, it was just kind of hard because there was so much to take in.
You'd be
really
a holy
tired
hour at the end of the day and kind of just drift off for a couple minutes, and then just really hard to focus because you're tired. And I would say that was probably the biggest struggle for me as well.
Okay. Jesus is okay with that.
And just because we were in this big place like Peru, like, I don't know, it was like we are still experiencing like mundane, like ordinary things too, just kind of more focused on the ultimate goal,
So what about some of the triumphs that you guys had? Some of the big moments, some of the pun intended mountaintop moments.
So many.
Just a lot of little things. I think like it's hard to like explain how good the trip was, like other than just saying it was just so good.
So good.
I think one of the highs was Thursday. We processed up the mountain, and Father Andy was the one that he had the host and Jesus, and he carried Jesus up in the monstrance up the mountain, and then we had our holy hour up on the mountain. It was just kind of fitting, being that it was Lent, and we were processing up this mountain kind of like Jesus did on Calvary. So it's just really cool to reflect on that, like as we were doing it. I felt like that was a really powerful moment for me.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Very powerful. And then also just throughout that entire day, Jesus, he was exposed all throughout the day. So the people would come in. The people of Pamplona were able to go and experience Jesus and pray with him, which they don't get to experience that often, besides obviously these spring break weeks. But all throughout the rest of the year, they don't get to have adoration right in front of them, which is something we're very blessed with here in Hayes. But they don't get to experience Jesus. And then experiencing him climb the mountain through Father Andy was just really empowering. Just even seeing Father Andy struggle, because we struggled climbing up the mountain
and we were going slow, and Father was holding it
And Father was holding Jesus in the
Yeah.
monstrance all the way up this mountain. That was just him and himself and the servers. That was very eye-opening as well.
Wow. Yeah, that is really awesome. And so because they are impoverished even in that, also in the manner that we are so spoiled
Mhm.
that I think we do take that for granted. Like you said, we've got a perpetual adoration chapel, but how often do we actually just stop in and be like, Jesus is right there?
Mhm.
For them, was that I guess maybe can you explain to me what was it like to be able to see them experience adoration where like you said, this is not something they normally are able to do?
So the kids, they were obviously, whenever you're not in routine, they were just kind of wild throughout it, which is okay. Jesus, loves the
Oh,
children.
absolutely.
So that was really sweet. But then we did have a couple of adults just stop in and just kind of break down.
Yeah. Father Andy and one other girl we were there with, they got really close to one of the guys we were building the wall with. So they had some really good conversations with him. And I think Father Andy said he ended up stopping in during like his holy hour as well.
Mhm.
And he said that was just a really cool moment to see like him just, kind of coming back to the Lord and experiencing him in the Eucharist. Something that I don't know that he had ever really like done before.
Wow. That is awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Let me see. You got to bring Christ literally to these people.
Literally.
Up the mountain. Yeah.
Up the
Up the
mountain.
mountain.
But yeah, that's
During Lent.
just wrapping my head around it, because that is so many pieces of what we know from scripture are kind of like
Mhm.
falling together right in front of you guys during this most holy time. And so what a beautiful image. Thank you so very much for sharing that with us. Were there other things too that you're like, I'm never going to forget this moment? Or were those kind of the big ones?
Those
were
I
like
mean,
the
we
big-
also took a pilgrimage day through Lima, and we seen St. Rose of Lima, like
really?
her
Yes.
childhood home, and then St. Martin de Porres. So we stopped by,
and then one other saint. We just can't remember his name.
Those are the big ones.
We were trying to think about it before
Yeah.
we came.
Poor
but we couldn't.
saint. We remember the big ones, but sorry about
Pray
you,
for
buddy.
him as well.
Yeah. So we got to visit kind of a monastery, and like, I don't know, it was just really cool because it was just such a holy place. And I had never really, done like a pilgrimage like that before, where, literal saints
walked there.
walked,
Yeah.
prayed. Yeah. Were buried.
But it was
Yeah.
also interesting to see the people's devotion to those saints, and also their devotion to Mary. They have Mary statues everywhere. Like there would be people just crying on the statue. Like I don't know. It was really interesting because I personally haven't had like a really close devotion to a saint, but it was really unique to see their devotions to the saints and how much they love them and how much they pray to them in their intercession. So that was really unique, I thought, as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. So the group that you went with then, do you all of you know, I mean, I know you guys are killing it down at the campus center, which is awesome. Please keep it up. And so you probably know each other pretty well, but did you know everybody in your crew that you went with, or did you guys?
Honestly, I knew really well. I knew Aspen and one other girl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I knew of some of the other ones, but yeah, like
You'll
I
see
said,
them around, but we definitely became really good friends with. We hang out with them every single day now.
Yeah, and I think it was kind of nice having, because last year I think they took like 20 or 30 students, and this year it was only about 11. So it was actually really nice just to
smaller group. We were able to bond.
Yeah, you're
really
able
well
to get to know each other a lot better.
That's awesome. Have you ladies been involved in prayer or in action or anything else around here more locally?
I have not. No, I did a camp far away. That was kind of similar to prayer in action, but not around here now.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like I did Totus Tutus growing up, but nothing like mission work like this. No.
Okay. Yeah. Nothing that was as eye opening and amazing like that. Yeah. So you guys come back then, and you've obviously made some, as you said, you made some connections. You've made some relationships with these people, and I think it's hard not to. When you're doing mission work together and you're out sweating it out for how long was it?
A week.
A week, and then come traveling back. What was it like traveling back? Was it hard to leave? Were you kind of done? A little bit of both?
I could have stayed there for a whole nother month.
Yeah,
but-
honestly, the travel day was kind of terrible just because it was 24 hours. But
How long, really quickly, how long is the flight from there
it was
to
only like 4.5, 5 at 5:15.
maybe six
Yeah, I don't
hours
know.
from Miami to Lima.
okay.
Yeah, longest the 6. But we did those overnight, so
They
we
weren't
did get to
bad.
sleep a little
Yeah.
bit on the planes.
Yeah, I think the weirdest thing coming back was like we didn't have any cell service. I didn't have any cell service while I was over there.
Me either.
So my mom was probably freaking out the whole time, but I know she was. Sorry, Mom. So like coming back and we landed in Miami and like just getting all the texts that I like had missed. I was just like, wow, like I've really been really disconnected for like a week, and it was really nice.
It was really nice.
It was really really nice.
Made our days a lot longer, thankfully.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But just like hearing from all of like my family from the past week and like catching up on everything I missed out on, like all the news, I guess. But
Lots of news.
That's awesome. But backing up into that question a little bit more.
Sorry.
Because this is awesome that you guys were like, yeah, it was nice. Did you notice that sometime throughout the week
Mhm.
where you were like, okay, yeah, I don't have my phone and this is actually kind of glorious.
Yes.
Yes, all
And
the time.
that's what I feel like I'm coming back. I've trying to be a lot more like conscientious of like just being present in the moment and like a lot more intentional, because it's just so much
Mhm.
easier to be present when
When you know what it's like to
Yeah.
be present.
yeah
So wholly
Wow.
present.
yeah
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
like,
because there you don't have the chance to like, just
We
start
didn't at all. We had
scrolling.
no service at all.
Yeah,
It
that
was
is
so nice.
awesome.
yeah and I mean we're all just working towards like a common goal and like
Yeah.
very intentionally, and I think like coming back, it's like the whole point is to be intentional of like our ultimate goal.
Yeah. So a little bit difficult to leave then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely was.
Especially to come back to school and all of our responsibilities
our,
here.
our first week back, I don't think we focused on school at all. I don't think we could. Like, I don't think we had the mental space to focus on school. We were still mentally in Peru
Okay.
and physically
Yeah.
in Hayes.
Is it pretty then? It has to be. Is there that culture shock? Because you guys kind of talked about it already. Like when you go from something like that, I've never experienced it. And I hope that I can sometime in my life, but I have been through situations where, no electronics, not really other people, stuff like that. And then you come back and you're kind of just,
Overwhelmed.
yes,
Yes.
in a daze.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
You're
almost
like,
like
what just happened?
yes, and
we were like, what just happened? We have no idea. We were just experiencing greatness. And now we're back in Hayes, and what do we do?
well, and
Yeah.
and I want to say this carefully, but there is also, at least for me in the situation I'm talking about, a little bit too of disgust, of like, this is how we live.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to shame anybody because I'm myself, am sitting here in air conditioned for the most part, and nice clothes, shoes, stuff like that. But at least for me, did you guys experience that too when you got back? Kind of like just all the noise, all the excess.
Mhm.
How'd you take that?
Yeah.
It was rough just walking on campus and seeing everyone. Like whenever we were in Peru, you saw someone and they'd smile and say hi, no matter what, wherever we were in Peru, in Lima or Pamplona. And then you would just walk on campus even, and you walk by someone and they're on their phone, head down. I'm just like, hi.
And they look at you like, who are you, weirdo?
Yes, no. And then, I can brush my teeth with running water because it's safe. I can't,
Yeah.
I can open up my refrigerator and get food from it.
Oh
That's
my,
good.
yeah.
There's so many things we take for granted.
I can put ice in my water. Yeah, it's
Yeah. Oh,
just
wow.
crazy.
What did they, since you brought that up, I keep backtracking because you have so many things that you make me want to know more about. How do they deal with food? They obviously don't have, like you were saying, refrigerators.
Yeah.
What do they do?
They did have some electricity up on the
Okay.
mountain. So they had
Rice. They eat a lot of rice.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think we seen one inside one of the homes, but I can't remember. If
The
there
fridge was outside, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the water.
There
bag
was
on-
some electricity, but like I said,
Okay.
I don't know if everyone had it or,
Mhm.
but yeah, no running water.
Okay.
Because they did have electricity poles and like they
Yeah.
had posters up for internet. So I
Yeah,
don't
it was
know.
kind of
So,
confusing.
yeah.
We didn't, since we couldn't ask about it, that was
Okay.
kind of hard to
Gotcha.
kind of understand what they
Yeah.
actually did have.
So you get back, there is some of that culture shock. How do you then, because this is one of the important things, and I know that we get back into our own ways
Mhm.
really quick.
Mhm.
Some information that someone shared with me once was, you've had this moving experience. Now the challenge is when you get back, people are going to start popping those little balloons, that are keeping you afloat.
Mhm.
And they're going to bring you back to earth real quick. How do you I'm not saying like try to foster these fake feelings or like hold on to that forever, because we can't, but how do you take what you learned and how you lived and keep it going so that we don't just like come back and go straight back into, well, that basically did nothing for me.
Mhm.
Say keep taking it to prayer. Like I think that's a big thing that came back. Is like we wrote it. A lot of us wrote everything that happened like down in journals, so like we can go back and look at it. But also like you just have to realize like the only way, I mean, you can continue to do the work we're meant to do is if you have like a daily prayer life. Like that's
Mhm.
something you have to keep coming back to.
Yeah, one of our good friends who we met in Peru, now we're good friends with him. He said something has to change. You cannot go back and not do anything. Something has to change. And I honestly really took that to heart. Like we've been to daily mass now every day. I've been praying more every day. I've been praying those I just really adding on, something had to change. You can't experience that and come back and go back to the way you were living. Something has to change. And
I feel like
it really does, like Grace said, start with prayer. You have to start there. I mean, that's our ultimate
you have
goal.
to find joy in like the little things in the mundane,
Mhm.
because most of your life is lived in the mundane. Like we're
Yeah.
not going to have
Mhm.
an experience like this probably for a long time again.
Yeah.
Wow. So I guess, we've had such a wonderful discussion. I would just mention to people one more thing, and then I want to close out with you ladies and get your thoughts maybe on some things going on down at the campus center and stuff like that, if that works for you.
Mhm.
Okay. So reminding people that you're listening to Divine Mercy Radio's Spring Care-a-thon, Pray, Hope, and Don't Worry. You are all that, you're all that we have, actually, when it comes to making this station go, because we're 100% listener funded. We get no donations or anything from the government, which is good, because we just put out the Catholic content that we want to, and we do it by your support. So please continue to support us and help us to use up our matching funds. And I will look and see what we have. A while back, we were at about $9,000. So we're probably at about $7,000, somewhere in there, of matching funds left. We've got 1 hour left. Let's see if we can use them up. 785-621-4110. That's 785-621-4110. We're talking with Grace Eck and Aspen Bussing, and they are discussing with us their mission trip to Peru. It's been a wonderful discussion. So ladies, back to you really quickly then. Involved in the campus center.
Mhm.
Tell us about anything that you want to, that's going on, that you would like to promote, that you'd like to give shout outs, anything like that that's happening.
You're giggling. What do you want to say?
There's just a lot of big things going on down there, I would say, right now. Father Andy is doing a great job of just bringing college students back to the Catholic faith, or strengthening their Catholic faith. Right now there's talk of building a new campus center, new chapel, because we're kind of outgrowing our other one.
I think that's a long-term plan.
A
long-term plan.
Yes.
Yes.
So lots to look forward to there in the future, for sure.
Which is really beautiful, because
Mhm.
even just whenever we started going, like my freshman year, her sophomore year, there was not very many people there. Like we were not outgrowing the space. We fit in the space, and now we are over the space, over capacity. Yes.
Yeah, that is a good problem to have.
It's
Yeah,
a
for
great
sure,
problem
for
to
sure.
have. Even just daily masses, there's probably
Yeah.
50 students there every
Yeah.
day, which, and it used
Okay.
to be like five
Yeah,
my
not very
freshman
many.
year on a
Yeah.
good day. Yeah.
Wow.
For definitely, yeah, big changes to come in the future.
So, are you guys involved with the Focus missionaries that are there on campus also, or do you guys ever see them and interact with them?
Yeah, we see them all the time, especially after our trip. Like we've been
Okay.
talking to them a lot. But I am involved in a Focus Bible study as well.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I am
Awesome.
too. But I mean, yeah, they're on campus for the most part. And they, lead a bunch of Bible studies, disciple a lot of people. So they're just very
Invite you
involved.
out to go get ice cream or go
Yep.
on a walk. They're
Okay.
very present. We appreciate them a lot.
Okay.
Mhm.
Fantastic. And I'm actually going to ask this on the air, but is Will your brother?
Cousin.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yep.
So I had Will in class
Gotcha.
over at TMP.
Yep.
And so I just looked and I was like, I know I've been staring at this last name and then I'm like, well, duh. So, all right. Awesome. Well, ladies, thank you so very much. Is there anything else you wanted to tell us before you leave us today?
All glory be.
Okay. Awesome. Please pray for us. We'll be
Yes.
praying for you guys. And thank you so very much for your time.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day. We just had a great conversation with these wonderful ladies from down at the Fort Hays State Campus Center. Please support the work that they're doing. They are just killing it down there because they've got Focus missionaries on campus. They're running Bible studies. They're bringing people into the faith. They brought 13 people into the Catholic faith this year and more in formation. And I think that's just because they're so good at being able to be Christ to one another. So thank you, ladies, so much. Have a great day. All right. You're listening to Divine Mercy Radio's Spring Care-a-thon. Pray, hope, and don't worry. We have a Care-a-thon goal of $125,000. If you could please help us with this goal, you can go to dvmercy.com and you can watch as the thermometer goes up. They try to make sure that they update that every day so that you can see where we're at. We have $7,650 left in matching funds, and it'd be awesome if we could use those up by the end of this next hour. I think that there's probably a $5,000 donor out there somewhere. I don't know who you are, but if you're listening and the good Lord's poking you and going, hey, that's you. Hey, that's you. Hey, that's you. The hound of heaven is chasing you. Answer that call, 785-621-4110, and we will answer the call, 785-621-4110. If you can give $5,000, 1,120, whatever you can give, we will use whatever you give us to make sure that we are evangelizing to the best that we can. 785-621-4110. And we thank so very much for all of our listeners. We thank you so much for all of the people who come in and give us of their time. We want to remind you of some of the things that we have for you guys who are supporting us. And so on this Care-a-thon, if you give $250 or more, you'll receive a set of 4 slate coasters with the Divine Mercy radio image, and it is imprinted on it. I'm holding it up here on the live stream right now so that people can see it. You will also be entered into a drawing for a Bose portable smart speaker. You will be entered into a drawing for a St. Padre Pio laser engraved image, a handmade ladder rosary donated by Dora Liker, a 50-pound beef package, a St. Francis prayer framed wall hanging, and a $100 gift certificate to Hickok's Steakhouse. If you give $500 or more, you will be entered into the drawing. You will get those coasters, and you will receive a 60-second spot celebrating a loved one's birthday, an anniversary of a death, an anniversary, a baptism, a wedding, a graduation, which is there's a lot of those coming up, or virtually any other celebration. We can help you to make it happen. We can even help you to write the script and put it on for you. If you give $1,000 or more, it's everything that I listed above, plus you get a Divine Mercy travel mug. And so here this is. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Rumble, you can see that. If you're listening on the radio, you can't, but it's pretty awesome. I would like to have one myself, so if there is any leftovers, I think I might just buy one from them. Please, if you give $1,000, then we will use that, like I said, to help continue evangelizing. But in addition to the Divine Mercy travel mug that will keep your drinks warm or cold, you will receive 2 tickets to the annual